Keith, great to be joined by Vin Parisi. Vin, just one game to go by for Penn State, but this is a team that was an NCAA tournament team a year ago. A lot of changes, including a new head coach trying to get back to that level.
Yeah, but now head coach Jim Ferry returns a ton of experience. Lots of veterans for these Nittany Lions, and they will always have 4 to 5 three-point shooters on the floor.
It's an interesting matchup because it's an experienced Penn State team against a VCU team that has virtually an entire new starting five led by Bones Hyland.
9 freshmen and sophomores for head coach Mike Rhodes, but if they're going to pick up the big road win this evening, it's going to start with full court pressure defense.
Jamari Wheeler, the senior guard for Penn State, a terrific season opening performance in their win over VMI. Wheeler, who averaged under 4 points a game a season ago, came out of the gates with an 18-point performance to lead the Nittany Lions. We are underway, sort of, as there's an immediate whistle off of the tip. So the first ever meeting between Penn State and VCU. And the Nittany Lions will have possession first. Your officials, Larry Serrato, Courtney Green, Andy O'Brien. And a second whistle here within the first 5 seconds. And boy, Vin, we're sort of off and running.
Nothing like a little hold up from the Zebras just 5 seconds in.
There's Jim Ferry, the interim head coach for Penn State. Pat Chambers, the longtime head coach, resigned in October. But, you know, Ferry's no stranger to the head coaching position.
A veteran head coach. Spent time in the Atlantic 10 at Duquesne. Terrific run out of the New York City metropolitan area at LIU.
He took the Blackbirds to 2 NCAA tournaments, 2011, 2012. So here we are underway. It's Myron Jones inside John Harrah, the first 2 points of the evening.
He is a big, strong body that the Rams are going to have to contend with on the interior by committee. You can't just go one-on-one with him sometimes. You have to dig in and help.
A 6'9" senior Harrah and Jamari Wheeler are the senior leaders of this Nittany Lions team. So here's our first look at VCU on the offensive end, and the Kansas State transfer Stockard misfires. VCU 2-1. Played a pretty tough early season schedule.
The first 2 possessions now, Harrah's been involved with 2 high screens, and his bread and butter is rebounding when you look at his stat line, but he has a knack for this, making himself available with the soft touch on the inside.
6'9", 240, very athletic body. Jones, one of their better shooters, pops out an early 5-0 lead for the Nittany Lions.
Second in three-pointers last year behind Stevens. He's their big-time three-point threat.
Hason Curry, the quick answer on the other end. That was Jones's first three-pointer of the season. He was 0 for 5 from downtown in their season opener. Lundy puts it on the floor, inside to Harrah again, and it's an offensive foul.
Well, they read the pick and roll that time and took the hit.
Fouls on number 21, John Harrah, his first.
Nice job using the screen, moving without the ball by Jones. That's the key to getting open. So often you see players, they're reacting too quickly. Rather be late than early, using down screens.
First foul of the game was Hason Curry, who scored the first bucket for the Rams, taking the charge against Harrah. Bones Hyland, entry pass to Levi Stockard, the third, puts it on the floor against Harrah and muscles his way inside.
Stockard had a lot of experience. 100 games under his belt. Transfer from Kansas State.
And here's that VCU pressure defense, but a turnover. Hason Curry shuffled the feet after he made the steal.
6'8", 245. And that time, he did his work early in terms of getting real estate. Too difficult. Got to meet him up, get on that top side, and now allow that entry pass to take place.
And this is where VCU's bread is buttered, Vin, the pressure defense.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
A decade and a half, too. That was an unforced turnover there, it looked like, as Isaiah Brockington bounced it out of bounds off of his leg. Here's Mike Rhodes in his 4th season as the head coach at VCU, 63 and 37. And it's funny, in this position, no matter who steps in, they seem to do a terrific job, going back to Anthony Grant.
Well, Mike is doing a terrific job, and you mentioned Anthony Grant, Jeff Capel, of course, Shaka Smart. It's been a hotbed and a cradle for head coaches. Will Wade.
It's been a terrific decade and a half, almost 2-decade run for this program.
This is a young VCU squad.
Myron Jones up ahead to Seth Lundy. And a quick start for Penn State.
And this is what Mike Rhodes talked to us about earlier today. He realizes his ball club, predominantly freshmen and sophomores, going against veterans on the road. You cannot turn the basketball over. You got to value each and every possession.
Bones Hyland is their leading scorer. Here's Ace Baldwin, their freshman point guard out of Baltimore. Nice feed for Stockard.
That is a pick and roll to perfection. Jim Ferry not happy on the sidelines, but you cannot wallow in defensive breakdowns because you got to get into a press offense mindset right away and deal with this pressure.
Brockington from the corner rattles it out. Baldwin's a guy they are very high on, averaging 6.3 assists through his first 3 collegiate games. Doesn't shoot a whole lot. He's a pass first and pass second point guard. Another nice feed to Bones Hyland from the wing. Too strong. Good box out by Hara. Wheeler inside. Hara draws the double team. Hesitates a little bit. Brockington, nice move down the lane, can't get it to go. Out of bounds off the Nittany Lions.
Okay, I hope both ball clubs are prepared in terms of pick and roll defense, because this is a clinic right here. Baldwin head up. Stockard. You need backside, weak side help. More gray jerseys in the paint. So all of the attention was on Baldwin up high off dribble penetration.
Baldwin, a quick 6-foot, 190-pound point guard out of Baltimore. Good matchup here. Jamari Wheeler, excellent on the defensive end.
Led the Big Ten in steals last season, one of the best in the nation in that department.
Curry rolling to the basket that time, and VCU has a 1-point lead.
You got to get stops, and then you got to try to get out and get leak outs when you talk to Jim Ferry, because every time they get a bucket, they're able to set up that full court pressure D.
Little pull up, smooth stroke by Myron Jones. Back and forth early on. Just the second game of the season for Penn State as we have entered the second week of the college basketball season.
And at this point, if you got a game scheduled, and you can get to the arena and pull it off, this is success right there.
Not even week by week these days, Vin. It's day by day for all of these programs.
No doubt about it.
Jones trying to find some room to operate here. Still with the dribble. Has it deflected from behind by Hyland. Stays with it, though. A deep 3 for Lundy, stepping back in the corner.
Now they will go small at times and have Seth Lundy at the 5, believe it or not, and have 5 perimeter shooters on the floor. This time, the 6'6" sophomore is getting it cooking on the perimeter.
The vast majority of Seth Lundy's field goal attempts in college have been from behind the arc. A step-back answer for Vince Williams, the junior forward, just back in the ballgame for the first time.
Williams had very nice stretches when they were in South Dakota over the Thanksgiving weekend to where he really got cooking on the perimeter.
2 in a row for Lundy. No, that one comes up a little bit short. Brockington battling for the offensive rebound. And Keyshawn Curry couldn't handle. Penn State, an early 1-point lead here at Penn State. An early 1-point lead for the Nittany Lions over VCU. It's a very different VCU program than we're used to seeing. A lot of turnover this year for Mike Rhodes' program.
And look at that, 15 total starts return for this season for Mike Rhodes. Obviously graduating the 5 seniors, but they have great pieces to the puzzle in place, and these are freshmen and sophomores. But as Mike says, think about the experience they've had so far playing the West Virginias, beating Penny Hardaway in Memphis, and then you look at the Utah State win. They completely turned that basketball game around with full court pressure D, their staple.
So the names change, the faces change, the style of play does not for VCU, and we've seen traces of that defensive pressure early on already.
Their future is bright. You got Bones Hyland, who's the A-10 Rookie of the Year last season. Big-time three-point threat as a sophomore now.
He started the final 9 games last year, and other than that, he's really the only returning starter on this Rams roster, except for a spot start here or there.
Both ball clubs really making it an emphasis offensively with side pick and rolls here.
Well, it's an interesting matchup, Vin, because when you think VCU, you think havoc, you think their defensive pressure. When you think of a Jim Ferry coach team going back to, as you mentioned earlier, his LIU days when he went to back-to-back NCAA tournaments, a high-octane offensive program.
No doubt about it. And they just dodged a major bullet right there because they had it in that danger zone that Rhodes and VCU lives for you to pick up your dribble just over half court along the sideline.
Trent Buttrick comes up short on his three-point attempt. Long rebound out to Hyland. Keeps it himself, and it's deflected out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Rams.
It's not always going to be 94 feet, but they'll be opportunistic and try to pick their spots at times.
Like it went off the side of the face of Brockington there.
Hyland has more in his toolbox than just perimeter shooting, as we'll see.
And a lot of offensive responsibility for him this year.
No doubt.
Putting it on the floor here, driving strongly against Myles Dread, who held up strongly himself.
The interior was open. And a lot of times they will just space out and take advantage of driving opportunities. You got to be ready on the weak side.
Brockington, who missed his first 3 field goal attempts, is now called for an offensive foul. So a tough start for the junior guard out of Philadelphia.
His first, 8 seconds.
Straight line drive. Really trying to muscle through. And this is a young man who Jim Ferry really is going to rely on this year. Got the short end of the stick on that one.
He did, and that's his second foul, sending him to the bench.
It looked like a lot more contact live than when you watch that replay. And that's a blow because he was their 6th man last year, but wound up being their leading scorer 4 times. They need him to take his offense to the next level this season.
Vince Williams out of control, picked up by Sam Sessoms, their transfer from Binghamton. And this is a foul on the floor, looks like against Jameer Watkins.
And with Brockington to the bench, this is an opportunity for Sessoms to really be a big-time contributor here.
This is a guy who had a terrific 2 seasons at Binghamton before transferring in, and a guy you're excited to see play today.
No, he's good. He's very quick, 6-foot guard. Coaching staff loves him. Leading scorer last year in the America East. Give them much-needed help in the backcourt this year.
A tough Philly guard, as Jim Ferry described him. That's a good category to be in. And there's an offensive foul against Lundy as Vince Williams, maybe a little theatrics, but he got the call.
It was theatrics, but Lundy shouldn't have bid for it. See, right there, the contact was actually starting earlier before that. It seemed like the officials were just waiting for Lundy to dip it just an inch, that shoulder, and it caught him.
Lundy's a big dude, but I'm not sure if he's big enough to actually lift Williams' feet off the ground as he did there. Hason Ward is checked in for VCU. Here's Williams on the offensive end now, and Jimmy Clark, the third, a sophomore guard, handling against Myron Jones. Double team, knocked out of bounds, 6 seconds to shoot.
Nice show up top.
So after a quick start to this game, no points for either team in the last 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Here's Clark, has it stripped away. Good defensive play by Trent Buttrick. From the corner, it's Lundy again off the front of the rim. Buttrick battling for the offensive rebound. 1-point lead for Penn State. Family members of the players and coaches allowed inside Bryce Jordan Center for this December game. Penn State a 1-point lead over VCU. It's good to see some fans in the seats here. Christmas music blasting through the arena here. Fast start for Penn State, Vin, but 0 for 4 since that first media timeout.
And had shots drop early. And then recently, it's been a team defensive effort by the Rams, which has forced them into some tough possessions in terms of shot selection. And also, don't underestimate Brockington to the bench with the quick 2.
Good body control by Myles Dread, but he comes up short. We're coming up on 3 minutes without a point for either of these teams. Jameer Watkins, a freshman forward out of Trenton, New Jersey, gives it back outside for Jimmy Clark III. Opening along the baseline, Hason Ward goes to the reverse. Loose ball is scooped up by Dread.
That's a good take. His high percentage look. They're a young ball club, but they do not hesitate at every position to attack the front of the cup. And when your team's aggressive in a smart way offensively, coaches will live with those mistakes.
There's Sam Sessoms handling the ball now against Clark. Little hesitation move, and that's a goaltend.
Nat Sessom's game to a T. He's crafty, he's deceivingly quick, knifes in, and that was an easy one on the glass first.
I have to correct myself from earlier. Isaiah Brockington, who did go to the bench after that foul for Penn State, only has one personal foul, so that makes a big difference for the Nittany Lions. Ward picks up his dribble, and Sessom steps in front of the entry pass.
Gamble turned out well.
1-on-3, pulls it out. Lundy's been firing away early. This time he draws the foul against Trey Clark.
See, these are the lineups that Jim Ferry puts on the floor. That's a challenge to guard. You got to make sure your matchups are right. You see Mike Rhodes going to the bench with 2 new ones for the Rams. Because they go Hara at the 5, Lundy at the 4, so you have 4 3-point threats coming at you when they space you at all times.
One of those Rams who heads to the bench, Trey Clark, who just picked up his 2nd personal foul. Hara rolling to the basket, another foul on the floor against VCU.
Fouls on number 33, Josh Banks.
This one's on Josh Banks, another freshman in their rotation.
Veteran official crew here today, Larry Serrata. Big-time Big Ten officials, always seem to go deep into the NCAA tournament, setting the tone for hand-checking here early by both squads.
Sessoms keeps his dribble. Lundy near the top of the arc, and that's his 2nd from downtown.
That's too much space and too much time. You got to chase Lundy off that arc and make him try to take tough 2s off the bounce.
Doubles the Nittany Lions lead midway through the first half. Strong drive to the basket, but Banks comes up short. Wheeler draws the foul in transition. Lundy off to the good start.
So Lundy starting the paint there, does a great job moving without the basketball on penetration. He is a sophomore who they are really expecting big things out of. He could be a big-time breakout player in the Big Ten this season.
Nice size for a guy who predominantly plays from behind the 3-point arc. Shot 39% from downtown last year.
Who could forget that game at Iowa where he had 5 threes, his breakout performance. Now, he was a freshman, but he wound up starting the last 15 last season for Pat Chambers.
Here's Wheeler getting into the paint, turns in midair and finishes at an 8-point lead.
So many people talk about Wheeler's perimeter defense. Always atop the steals department, but he does such a great job on dribble penetration middle.
Stockard back into the ball game, and they're going to count that.
I think it was too deep. More pick and roll offense with Stockard being the recipient by the Rams. And that's what the officials have determined.
Levi Stockard III is good. He's at the line. 1 shot.
Myles Dread just underneath that arc. Your head is under rim. You're not going to get that one.
Levi Stockard is proving to be a load down low for VCU. Lundy puts it on the floor this time, switches to the left hand. Here come the Rams.
It's a good job by Banks containing dribble penetration on Sessoms.
Hesitation move and a tough finish by the freshman Ace Baldwin. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
His second.
This is a youngster who they are very high on, as we talked about, likes to distribute, but that time, change of speed and change of direction.
Number 12, Isaiah.
And once again, the foul is against Myles Dread. His second, he heads to the bench. Brockington, who again only has one personal foul, replaces him.
He's at the line, shooting one.
See the numbers for the freshman Ace Baldwin, 6.3 assists through his first three. 2 times in a row, VCU can't complete a three-point play. Wheeler inside. And here's Lundy showing the mid-range game.
Lundy!
Now that continues to evolve. Adds another dimension to offensive scoring. Nice cut.
Backdoor for Josh Banks. Lundy, the first scorer in the ball game, into double figures. He was open outside, but instead Hara goes up and draws the foul.
Fouls on number 2, Myles Jones. First.
Watch this. This is textbook basketball. Dribble at, go back door. High basketball IQ by the freshman Banks. Great movement without the ball. You could just tell that that is offensive pattern and action that they work on every day in practice with that type of timing.
2 shots.
Another freshman, Myles Brown Jones, picked up his first foul, sending Hara to the line. Free throw shooting a little spotty for both teams so far. VCU 0 for 2. Penn State, that's their first make. 1 for 2. Hara to the bench for Trent Butcher.
Big fellow. Hara didn't get any free throw attempts in the opener against VMI. It's an area where he could really clean up on if he's going to attack those offensive boards and be a factor out of their pick and roll offense.
Baldwin draws the double team, picks up his dribble. Sessom stepped into the passing lane again, but knocked it out of bounds.
Jim Ferry wants defensive pressure, not over gambling, not over committing and being reckless, but they're not going to sit back on their heels and just allow you to reverse the basketball whenever you want.
Inside feed, and Brown Jones has it blocked away. Sessoms goes to the reverse on the other end.
That's pretty.
He has terrific body control when he gets inside.
He does. Deceivingly quick off the bounce when he changes speed.
Quick answer for Myles Brown Jones.
A freshman out of Philadelphia. He was a high-level recruit for them. They beat out multiple Big East programs for that young man.
It's a freshman class they're very excited about. A lot of them in this playing rotation for Mike Rhodes.
Oh, nice entry.
Baldwin, but Stockard shuffled the feet inside. What we've seen so far, we've seen the whole repertoire. Taking it to the basket, tough three-point shots, as we just saw Penn State taking a 5-point lead. And on the defensive end, making that huge block a moment ago.
What I like about him is he'll have length when he's got to defend with a matchup on the perimeter, but he's one of those guys that's 6'6", but plays like he's 6'3" at times offensively and just hurts you in so many ways.
Other side of the coin, he looked like he was about 6'8" when he made that block a moment ago. He's never had a 20-point game all of last year. His career high 19 points came against Iowa. Here he is, once again from the top.
I might have got a piece of that one on the contest.
That was well off the mark. Here's Hyland back into the game. Wild shot picked up by Wheeler. Myron Jones shovels it off to Lundy, and he's got 12.
He's just feeling it, showing you the entire repertoire. They have been very opportunistic, not forcing the issue like VCU has at times in transition. They're picking their spots, though, efficiently.
Baldwin, nice feed inside for Stockard, and those two have it going.
I'll tell you, for a freshman, his vision on the court is terrific.
Third assist for Ace Baldwin.
Oh, don't pick it up there.
Bailed out by Lundy. Nice pass inside. Brockington has it blocked by Hyland. Curry along the baseline lost control and a late foul call after it appeared that Curry had lost possession.
Fouls on number 15, Trey Patrick.
You're not always going to run rim to rim. But Jones that time very, very unselfish to Lundy. That was a beautiful pass by Baldwin. I'll tell you what, if I was Stockard, I would just keep moving without the basketball and keep rolling instinctively, because Baldwin and these freshman guards are going to find you.
Stockard has proven he's got a very nice touch inside. Baldwin pulls up this time from the wing and rattles it home.
3 points.
Now hitting contested jumpers.
It's funny, he's only taken 4 3-pointers this season, but he's made 3 of them now. Back to a 2-point ball game. Wheeler coming off his season-opening 18-point performance for Penn State.
Okay, and Baldwin's done an excellent job defensively on Wheeler here early.
He's been quiet. Shot clock down to 3, and Baldwin forces Wheeler into the turnover. Terrific defense.
Freshman against the senior, making him work for everything that he's got to get. Adrian Baldwin playing terrific for Mike Rhodes, both distributing and now in the points column.
Baltimore native out of St. Francis Academy. Lot to like about this freshman class for VCU. They've all contributed in the first half of this game. There's one of the veterans on the team, Hyland, looking to get going. Picks up his dribble too early. Douglas lost it inside, and it's scooped up by Jones. Sessum's nice feed for Hara. Couldn't handle it, though. He had him.
Terrific look. Big fella just could not bring it in.
Williams back in the game for VCU.
Unselfishness yet again for the Nittany Lions. Oh, that would have been 2.
Tara knows that was there on a silver platter for him. This time Baldwin's pass is awry, and we're going the other way. First turnover for Baldwin. Little pressure here for the Rams.
They will stay up and in you consistently. They're not always going to run and jump with a trap, but sometimes just the mere presence of the pressure is going to milk 9 or 10 seconds off the shot clock for you, which throws off your rhythm offensively at times.
Lundy with a ton of confidence driving to the basket, but quick hands inside, and it's out of bounds off of his knee.
And sometimes defensive pressure does this. It makes guys work just a little bit too hard in isolation mode, trying to do it all by himself that time and not letting the offense flow and come to him.
Vince Williams, the quick swipe off the knee of Lundy to force the turnover. Hyland trying to turn the corner, goes up against Wheeler and draws the foul.
Well, Bones Hyland, who is all-tournament team out in South Dakota, can really stroke it from three-point land. So what's Wheeler doing? He's following the scouting report. He's chasing him off the three-point line. But the reigning A-10 Rookie of the Year now is a soph, showing you that he could put it on the deck and do more than just spot up from behind the arc.
Getting into the scorebook late in this first half, chance at a three-point play. VCU has scored the last 7 points, making an 8-0 run, and the Rams take a 1-point lead. Sessum's against the double team. Close. There's your 8-0 scoring run for VCU. Lundy trying to work for position inside. Williams doing a nice job cutting him off. So Jones fires from deep. Tara the offensive rebound. Puts it on the floor. Knocked away. Loose ball. Wheeler picks it up. Wild scramble there. And a Bryce Jordan Center, University Park. Pennsylvania after a quick start for Penn State. VCU on an 8-0 run, and the Rams have taken a 1-point lead.
And a big reason for that is the defensive end. In the last 3 or 4 possessions, Mike Rhodes' club, especially the perimeters, really turned up the heat in terms of ball pressure. See, when you go back and watching the film, Penn State did not face ball pressure like this against VMI. They could spot up and take threes with no ball pressure all day long.
Expected for Penn State, replacing Seth Lundy.
See VCU's all-time record against current members of the Big Ten Conference. Looking for their first road win. Sessom's on the floor, pulls up off the glass, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Big time pickup. Sam Sessoms, American East leading scorer, and he can do this. Beat you off the bounce, but this is about the second or third time we've just seen that soft finish at the end when he gets in with the trees off the glass.
6 points off the bench for Sessoms. Averaged 19.5 points at Binghamton last season. Finishes the 3-point play, puts Penn State back on top.
This is where Penn State should really make their presence felt. Half-court defensive pressure.
Jones grabs the rebound off the Baldwin missed 3. Brockington pulls up mid-range, too strong. Curry will bring it up.
Brockington looked like he was getting in the rhythm, getting in the flow very early. Now trying to get back to that place.
Picked up that tough offensive foul midway through the first half. Long 3-pointer is off the mark by Vince Williams.
You got to watch when Williams' feet are set. He could get streaky in a good way.
Jones has it poked away by Hyland. Good hustle by Hara going to the floor to retain possession.
Good job by the big fella. That's it. Reward him.
Posting up inside. Good job by Williams to shield him off, giving up a couple of inches.
Oh, yeah.
Shot clock dwindling down. Sessoms will have to create. Falling back from 8 feet away. Hara battling again. And another offensive rebound. Brockington pulls up. Smooth stroke there.
Very comfortable in mid-range mode on the perimeter.
Brockington's first field goal after missing his first 5 attempts. Here's Jones along the baseline, poked away. Sessoms had to save it, couldn't, however. And some numbers for VCU. Baldwin into the corner, finds his man Hyland for 3.
Picture perfect transition 3-on-2 basketball. Baldwin attacked the top defender, got to the middle of the floor, and Hyland, a spot-up shooter, got to the corner.
These guys on VCU are going to learn to find the open spot when Ace Baldwin has the ball in his hands.
No doubt about it.
Jones trying to answer. And the Rams push again. Hyland is open on the other wing for a second straight time. Baldwin, the floater, comes up short. Quick pace here. Not a lot of scoring action, however. Brockington's going to fire away from the wing. And a 4-point lead.
Now both ball clubs have the use it or lose it timeout. 36 they took.
Brockington 2 for 7 after missing his first 5 field goal attempts. Penn State has that 4-point lead.
I asked Jim Ferry yesterday, so you took 72 shots against VMI. Half of them were from 3-point line. What do you think? He said, we took maybe just a little bit too many, but we took open ones, and he did when you look at that film.
And they're 1-0 coming up at the half. We go back to our Los Angeles studios to join Rob Stone, Jim Jackson, and Casey Jacobson for their predictions on the new college basketball season. Plus, Vin and I will be back here breaking down the first half of play, so stay with us at the half. Penn State called that use-it-or-lose-it timeout after the bucket.
Well, so I'd like some predictions on who's playing who and where next week. How about VCU? Their itinerary and city destination changed about 3 times before they wound up in South Dakota over Thanksgiving weekend.
Number 20, Hason Ward at the line for the Rams.
The thing that's so impressive this year, and it's also crucial to having a season, Vin, is just the willingness of any team, if able, to play any game at any time in any location.
No doubt about it. I mean, you see teams playing each other on 24 hours notice. It's Seton Hall over the weekend. They started the morning playing St. Joe's on a Monday at Mohegan Sun. About 12 hours later, Kevin Willard was hosting his old boss, Rick Pitino, in Jersey on FS1 at 9 p.m. And that is how quick it's been changing day to day.
Seton Hall, by the way, will be right here, we think, on Sunday to play Penn State.
Knock on wood.
Game on the Big Ten Network. Good ball game so far. We've got a two-pointer. Wheeler loses control. Jones picks up the loose ball and draws the foul with 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Nice heads-up play by Jones, the junior. Very aware of the clock running down, and on the pickup, feeling the body contact on his shoulder, went with the shot attempt option.
2 shots.
Nickname Buckets.
Is that your nickname growing up?
No.
Wasn't mine.
Number 22, Dalian Johnson in the game for Penn State. Replacing Jamari Wheeler.
Jones, the second leading scorer on Penn State last year, averaged 13.3 a game.
Second in scoring behind Lamar Stevens. Recently signed with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Congratulations to him, but he's going to have to... Jones is a guy Jim Ferry's relying on to take it to the next level as well.
Missed 6 games late in the season last year. When he was out of the lineup, it really affected them. Baldwin, with the first half about to expire, Hyland can't get it off. Penn State will go into the locker room with a 3-point lead. Start of the second half for the Bryce Jordan Center at Penn State. The home team with a 3-point lead over VCU. Big lift by that man, Seth Lundy. 12 points to lead the way in the first half. His career high is 19. We'll keep an eye on that. And how about the freshman point guard, Ace Baldwin, 5 points and 4 assists in his 4th collegiate game. Penn State had an 8-point lead about midway through the first half, but after that, VCU really started to pick up its defensive pressure.
Yeah, and it was defensive pressure that led to turnovers, and Jim Ferry told us yesterday he have to take care of the ball against VCU because over the weekend in the tournament, look at the numbers that VCU's defense and pressure. Utah State, 18 turnovers. Memphis, 19 turnovers. West Virginia, 21 turnovers, and they're on pace to have a 20-turnover evening as well.
VCU forcing 9 Penn State turnovers in that first half. Now the Rams turned it over 10 times themselves.
And that's going to happen when you play fast and you have a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Mike Rhodes will live with aggressive mistakes and not being passive offensively, especially when they're trying to be unselfish.
VCU's gotten off to a good start this season. Those 3 opponents you just mentioned, none of them easy. They're 2-1, looking for a big win today, but it's Lundy in the open court.
One of the first times where it was an easy 2 points without much labor.
He's got 14. Penn State's lead back up to 5. Stockard comes up short. He scored 8 points at the first half. Lundy pulls up 10 feet away and a quick start for the sophomore forward from New Jersey.
That's when a scorer truly evolves. Being able to stop on a dime and then the soft touch in that mid-range area right below the foul line. That's the butter spot. Teeth of the defense.
Hyland, a 3 from the wing. Hara tips it into the hands of Jones.
He hasn't gotten going. Because when Bones Hyland gets going from the 3-point line, you know it.
Lundy certainly has. We'll see what he does here.
Above average piped in crowd noise here, Pat.
It's good. They do a nice job here. There are a couple of fans here as well, but we can't really hear them.
Yeah.
Family members of players, family members of coaches allowed inside Bryce Jordan Center for this one. It's the first game I've been to all season long where there have been fans in attendance.
Yep, same.
Yeah. It's a weird world that we're playing.
Late shot clock defense, got to communicate.
Lundy at the head of the defense against Hyland, gets around him and goes to the reverse.
Basketball goes Hyland.
You take away his three-point shot because that's at the top of the defensive scouting report. And now the reigning A10 Rookie of the Year shows he as a sophomore. He's got a little bit more off the bounce this season.
Big bucket there for Hyland as Lundy came out and hit his first 2 shots. Hyland's got 8 points. Brockington to the basket, draws the foul against Stockard.
We've been talking so much about Seth Lundy taking his offensive repertoire to the next level. This is what Bones Hyland is going to have to do because people are going to have him marked as a spot-up three-point shooter, which he is. But now you got to be able to read and react.
Number 12, Isaiah
Play what the defense gives you.
2 shots.
It's fun to see the progression of a player from his sophomore year and you come back as or from his freshman year, you come back as a sophomore, see what kind of tricks he's added to his trade.
2 ball clubs that's going to be relying on big-time production from their sophomores. 5 seniors lost to graduation for VCU.
Not to mention their leading scorer, Marcos Santos Silva, who transferred to Texas Tech.
That is a whole other element, the transfer game. So prevalent in college hoops these days at every level.
Hyland open for a moment, well off the mark. Brockington saves it, tiptoeing the baseline.
Good action to get him open. He just has not been able to set the feet and get into rhythm. And I'm a big believer in when you're able to take a guy away from his rhythm and bread and butter in the first half, it's tough for them to turn it on like a faucet in the second half. It's key for Penn State's half-court defense is that they chased him off the arc early.
They're making him work for it. He has 8 points, does Bones Hyland, but he's 1 for 5 from downtown.
Oh, Baldwin's terrific.
Finding the cutter, Hason Ward draws the foul inside.
I don't know if the replay is going to be able to show it, but it was because Adrian Baldwin's eyeballs were looking elsewhere. It's the old Magic Johnson no-look theory. But it gets the cutter slipping to the cup. What a terrific passer for a freshman.
He is in firm control of this VCU offense early in his career. Foul, meanwhile, is called against Myles Dread, his 3rd.
Team's assist leader, and it's not even close.
Brockington leaking behind the defense.
This is where you got to be efficient and patient offensively. Don't let them force you.
What a terrific move coming across by Keyshawn Curry. Excuse me, man.
No, opportunistic. You jumped in just the way he did. Jones saw the opening in a straight line drive. What a recovery from the weak side. How many black and gold jerseys coming along?
Whew. You know what? It was Hason Ward who actually gets credit with the block. Curry was in the neighborhood as well. Jones trying to answer, cannot.
Another sophomore. Ward is a long 6'9".
Myles Dread off the mark. Rebound by Baldwin. Hits the deck, draws the foul. Jones disagrees.
You see the size and you see the length, especially what Mike Rhodes has on the floor. And then you see the 6-foot Baldwin getting in there with the trees and gobbling down a defensive rebound. That's going to keep you on the floor from the head coach.
His passing alone, you would think, is going to keep him on the floor as well, but he was very high off the floor for that rebound attempt. Foul, meanwhile, was against Brockington. His 2nd. Hyland about 30 feet from the basket, working very hard. Looked like it kicked off the foot of Trent Buttrick. Then Penn State's 12th, showing the depth of the Big Ten Conference.
Wisconsin has all seniors. You want to take advantage of those opportunities. Could be a memorable season in Madison.
3 fifth-year seniors, a rarity in college basketball. How about Illinois topping the preseason poll in the Big Ten?
And they fun to watch out.
Their front line.
I feel like there's times where Penn State has been passive here, almost not so much the opposite of being aggressive, but just they've been taking out of their rhythm, and it seems that VCU has forced them to take shots that's not in their comfort zone at times, rather than establishing their own will offensively in the half court.
Number 3,
they had that 3-point lead at halftime, and then Seth Lundy came out with a dunk and a mid-range jumper to push it to 7. And every time you think Penn State's going to go on a run and pull away in this game, VCU has an answer.
Yeah, listen, Lundy's playing terrific, but when he's not in the game and on the bench like right now, who's going to step up? And another bad miss, that time's by Myles Dread. He's a big-time three-point shooter.
Not only a bad miss, but they're not getting good shots the last few trips down. Difficult shots.
This is where it comes into the depth that Mike Rhodes has, but more importantly, the conditioning of these young legs of these Rams keep coming at you defensively, not just in the full court. I know we've talked about their full court press mentality, which is their culture, but they will pressure you just as much in the half court as well.
Trey Clark knocks down a 3, and once again, we have a 1-point game. And Penn State right now looks a little discombobulated.
You're not going to get it back all at once.
Sessoms provided a spark off the bench in the first half. He's back out there.
Just play to your strengths.
Sessoms matched up with Hyland.
Forced. On an island by himself, taking a forced contested jumper. That's what VCU wants. Bring back those high screens and pick-and-roll offense, but treated them so well during that stretch in the first half.
And once again, the Rams with the ball and a chance to go on top here in the second half now. Williams trying to draw a foul. Hyland would love to get going.
Double team. Yep. Nice reversal.
Extra pass. Watkins. Box out inside, and it's out of bounds off the Buttrick.
See a double team up top on the ball screen and did not panic. Kept the dribble alive, retreat dribble, ball reversal, open 3 in the corner.
And a good job crashing the offensive boards to get another possession here. Hyland and Wheeler, good matchup there. 2 leading scorers. Hyland is fouled by Wheeler on the floor on his way to the basket.
His third
foul against Jamari Wheeler.
We said earlier, half of Penn State shot attempts in their opener against VMI were from 3-point land. You can see coming in with the scouting report that VCU's emphasis was going to be chasing them off the line, taking away threes as best of their ability, and forcing tough 2s inside the arc.
Now, one thing Jim Ferry told you when you asked him about that is that a lot of them were good shots.
They were.
That's not what we're seeing here.
No, when you look back at that film, I mean, they were wide open, but he knew that was not going to be the case this evening.
Different level of defense they're seeing here tonight.
Nice ball pressure by Sessoms.
Clark to the basket, out of control, but he draws the foul. So Clark will head to the free throw line. Jim Ferry, the interim head coach for Penn State, took over the program in October, winless in his career against VCU. Now, Ferry was the coach of Duquesne when VCU pretty much ruled the Atlantic 10 during that stretch.
Yeah. Never an easy trip. You know, you talked at the top about how unique this season is. The unexpected, controversial loss of Pat Chambers, successful head coach. And Jim Ferry says, listen, we're healing. We're healing right now. These guys, they wanted to battle. They love Chambers. But we are making the best of this situation. And the amount of veterans and the culture that these guys have, that is what Ferry and the staff is going to count on this season, because they believe in the foundation that was established here.
Which Ferry was a part of. This is his 4th year in the program.
Absolutely.
He's run the offense since he came on board as an assistant coach following his stint at Duquesne. And they've achieved a lot of success lately. The NIT championship a couple of years ago. Most prognosticators agree last year they would have been a 5 or a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament before that was shut down.
No doubt about it.
And Ferry's been a part of it. Tough shot, Lundy. And you know, when you start to score like he is today, you get those calls.
Foul was on number 10, Vince Williams. His first.
Lundy has that little deliberate hitch and hesitation sometimes to where he'll make it look like he's trying to rip through and go by you, and it's a quick dribble into a pull-up. Fast release for Mr. Lundy.
Penn State has been limited to 6 points in the first 6.5 minutes of the second half. Lundy accounting for more than a third of the Nittany Lion points, 17 now, and we are all tied.
Double high ball screen.
Trey Clark, the ball handler, off to Hyland. Matched up with Lundy.
And after the double high ball screen, it was to get Bones Hyland open, but Sessum's ball pressure up top threw the whole rhythm out of that offensive possession. He was out near the half-court line.
And here he is with the ball right now, driving against 2 defenders to put Penn State back on top by 2.
I love how he changes speed and direction. You know, he's got the jets to blow by you, but then he slows down and almost hurts you with that old man NBA veteran game with the touch inside. Puts you on his shoulder.
That's a good description for what Sam Sessions brings.
Looked like he was going to go to that next level and then just pumps the brakes for a second. This is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen his ball control and touch on the interior.
9
points off the bench for Sessions.
Number 33, Josh Banks, enters the game for VCU, replacing Bones Hyland. Banks for Hyland.
One more free throw coming for Trey Clark. Only attempted 12 of them all last season as a freshman, and we are tied once again. There's a foul against Clark well away from the basket.
Trey Clark III. His 4th foul, team 4.
That's number 4 against Trey Clark.
Everybody clap your hands.
And the 4th team foul against the Rams.
Junior in the game.
Yeah, 12 and a half left, and you're knotted at 44. And you talk about the foul situation. This is where you rely on your depth. This is where you rely on secondary contributors to fight through.
Sessions through 2 defenders. Great Good pass. Look for Lundy. He's got a career high.
Paint touches, when coaches talk offensively, is not just about bigs and post-ups inside. It's about guards getting paint touches the way they did right there. 2 feet in the paint, drawing multiple defenders, which leads to the open look on the perimeter.
20 points for Seth Lundy. That was his 3rd from downtown. Williams looking back door, but Sessions hustling to make the steal ahead to Brockington.
Nice pick.
Watkins one-on-one with Lundy with the left hand.
I think they got away with body contact there. Mike Rhodes is irate, and I think he's got a great point.
A lot of people were expecting a whistle there. Instead, it's Lundy putting it on the floor. The little floater, and Lundy showing us every aspect of his game here today.
Big 4-point swing.
Look back on that later, because that is a huge swing in this game right now. It's a 5-point lead for Penn State. Here's a look for Banks off the mark. Good tip-in, though, by Hason Ward.
Both ball clubs have done a terrific job at reading these hard hedges and double teams off the pick and rolls and getting the ball reversed to the other side of the floor, being unselfish.
Open look. Myron Jones passes it up.
He was almost too open. He was almost too open. It threw off his rhythm. He's used to guys running at him and trying to chase him off the arc because of his touch.
Sessions looking inside. There's a foul on the pass. 3-point lead for Penn State. Tight ball game at Penn State. The Nittany Lions, a 3-point lead. Midway point of the second half, Seth Lundy, a career-high 22 points. He was good in the first half, better in the second.
Well, we talked at the top about him being one of the big breakout players in the Big Ten this year. How about your career high? And there's still almost 11 minutes to go in this game. He's shown you his athleticism in transition. His touch on the perimeter and the mid-range game's been terrific as well.
22 points, 3 for 6 from downtown.
Fouls on number 20.
9 for 14 from the field. Hason Ward picks up the foul on the floor. It's the 6th against VCU, so that bears watching. Penn State will be in the bonus from here on out.
And if you're Jim Ferry and the Nittany Lions, who's going to be the supporting cast right now when they're in the half court in terms of offensive execution? Because you know Rhodes and company at the other end are talking about shutting Lundy out.
Baldwin took it away from Brockington, who got a little sloppy with the dribble. Here's the freshman point guard, straight on, 16 feet away. Battle for the offensive rebound, Brown-Jones, but no, it's a foul against the Rams, and it'll be Lundy heading to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
Fouls on number 2, Mikael Brown-Jones.
Brown Baldwin's bread and butter, pull-up jumpers from 15 to 17 feet, but he's been playing with a high level of confidence and having a terrific game offensively. I don't think Mike Rhodes is going to be disappointed with that type of aggressiveness.
It was the aggressiveness of Mikael Brown-Jones crashing the offensive boards that puts Lundy at the free throw line here. Tight game throughout. Penn State hasn't led by more than 8. VCU's largest lead has been 1 a couple of times. Baseline drive. Brown-Jones comes up short.
Got lucky there. That was a blow-by. Speaking of blow-bys.
Yeah, Brockington Ward holding his ground. We're at the midway point of the second half. 5-point ball game. There's Baldwin scooping it up. And that's going to be offensive basket interference. Wave it off.
Is the right mindset by Ward. But I think he thought it was going to come off the rim further. In fact, I agree with him. I thought as well it was coming off right above the cylinder. Nice aggressive drive by Baldwin, but this is the correct call. Kind of just died there and hung.
Very soft touch off the left hand of Ace Baldwin.
With limited practicing, it is impressive that they've been able, from a conditioning standpoint, VCU, to keep up this type of ball pressure. And you see right there, ball pressure and help side defense just forced that turnover in the half court. It's not always about full court pressure, and that's why when they were in South Dakota against Utah State and West Virginia and Memphis, it was nearly 20 forced turnovers a game.
Penn State just turned the ball over for the 13th time. We have a stoppage here. Not sure if it's an issue with the clock. Back here at Penn State after they reset the shot clock issue. And Penn State forces a steal out of that timeout. Lundy, a quick catch and shoot from the corner. That would have given them an 8-point lead, which has been their largest of the game so far. Instead, on the other end, Jameer Watkins draws the foul, going to the basket.
That would have turned the lead from 5 to 8. VCU is fortunate because Seth Lundy loves the corners, especially in transition, where he's able to get ahead of the basketball and fill the lane along the sideline.
That was as good a look as he's had today, too.
Absolutely.
First one no good for Jameer Watkins, a freshman forward from Trenton, New Jersey. Out of Trenton Catholic. So instead of an 8-point lead for Penn State, Watkins' free throw makes it a 4-point game.
Watkins, another big-time recruit for Rhodes and his staff. Interest from every league in the country, especially the Big East.
His second.
So the second foul on Ace Baldwin Jr. there, a reach-in, will send Penn State to the free throw line. It's going to be Sessoms, it is.
This is part of having a young team. VCU with all of these freshmen and sophomores and losing all of that experience from last year. You're on the road, you're battling, you're down, you're trying to get yourself back in it. You want to be aggressive defensively, but you do not want it to hurt you from the charity stripe. Being aggressive defensively without fouling. It's always one of the great challenges in college hoops.
Sessoms hits them both. Penn State is 10 for 13 from the line tonight.
Sessom's going to lock big-time minutes this season, you could already see.
He's taking that role of sixth man already in game number 2. Banks, meanwhile, makes it a 4-point game once again. Banks is long and athletic.
And like Jim Ferry said, you mentioned that sixth-man role. He's like, we basically have 6 starters. We're interchangeable.
And a lot of experience. Obviously with Wheeler, a senior, Sessoms, new to the program, but a junior after 2 years at Binghamton. Myron Jones, a junior. That's the backcourt. Here's Jones, step back on the baseline.
Yeah, footwork was not comfortable.
On the other end, Watkins looking very comfortable taking it to the basket. He'll head back to the free throw line.
Jim Ferry not happy about that one along the sidelines. You cannot allow these athletic wings for VCU to just dribble the basketball 50 to 60 feet without anybody stopping dribble penetration. They will get from foul line to foul line as quick as anybody. And here's the thing about Mike Rhodes' squad. He's got a lot of guys that could bring down the defensive rebound and need to break themselves off the bounce. They don't need the outlet pass conventionally.
Second time in the last minute or so that Jameer Watkins has drawn a foul driving to the basket. That foul was the 3rd against Seth Lundy. The leading scorer in this game with 24 points. VCU doing a good job at the free throw line. And it's back to a 2-point game.
Now this is a good substitution because obviously 2 more fouls and Lundy's out of here. However, I think he's going to let it flow into the next to last 8-minute media timeout, and then you'll see him come back. Quick blow before crunch time is just around the corner.
Trying to steal an extra few seconds for his leading scorer. Brockington from the corner. And VCU could tie it or take the lead once again. They post inside. Stockard. He'll have a chance to tie it up from the free throw line.
The experienced big man from Kansas State. And you want to talk about fundamental frontline basketball, watch this, kids. He's going to the line because he kept the ball high and chinned it. Did not bring it down. No ability for the defense to strip it or poke it away. It started with a terrific look, but it was because Stockard kept that high. Used the strength.
Go back to a point you made a minute ago. If Jim Ferry doesn't take Seth Lundy out of the game, he might have been underneath the basket on defense there.
No doubt.
We are tied once again. All 11 VCU players who have seen action today have scored. A very deep and balanced and young team, and they're hanging with Penn State.
High screen.
Sessoms pulls up from the elbow. Big shot.
Something he does excellent. Stop on a dime off dribble penetration and hurt you from that mid-range high post area on the pull-up.
Hera on the defensive end. A little too overzealous against Levi Stockard. We'll go to the free throw line. Back here at the Bryce Jordan Center, as you see Penn State a 55-53 lead on its home floor. Looking to improve to 2-0. 18 steals in their season opener against VMI. 7 so far today against VCU. But Vin, it's interesting because Penn State has led by 8. They've led by 7 a couple of times. But VCU, with its youth and depth, has not gone away.
Yeah, 15 total starts last year is what Mike Rhodes inherited this season, and they're playing unselfish. He has multiple weapons to come at you with, but he'll be the first to tell you we have to do it as a team. Very young, don't have that one guy that's always gonna be the man, especially late in the shot clock. And he loves to talk about one of their core values being the word appreciative. Having appreciation for the fact that we're just able to play games right now and not be on a pause and have 4 games under our belt. They talk about that, and this team has been very, very unselfish this evening.
And Levi Stockard, the third, one of the more experienced players on his roster, makes it a 1-point game, going 1 for 2 from the line. Here's a good look for Lundy, just off the bench, pushing to a 4-point advantage.
Well, like we predicted, back on the floor right after the 8-minute media. Now is a big-time bucket to get this back to a 2-possession lead.
That coaching move couldn't have worked out any better for Jim Ferry. He bought his star player an extra 30 seconds. He has 3 personal fouls. Stockard, what a move against Lundy along the baseline.
Well, Lundy was not defending with the base. He was straight up, hands in the air, completely vertical. And Stockard felt the contact off the spin.
He's got 13 points. And the Lions handle the pressure. Sessoms has been the primary ball handler in the second half for Penn State. A quiet day so far for Wheeler. Sessoms straight on 3, rattles it home.
Showing you his offensive attack is not just off the bounce all the time.
Strong drive to the basket by the freshman. Banks is rejected. Back-to-back threes out of that timeout for Penn State. Did it make it 3 in a row? Well, it's a good look for Lundy. 3 in a row. Timeout VCU. Penn State has equaled its largest lead of the night on the career night for Seth Lundy.
Jim Ferry's club and terrific offense from Seth Lundy. 30 of the 64 points.
Obliterating his previous career high of 19 set last year against Iowa. Bones Hyland back on the floor. It's been a very quiet game for him. Strong drive to the basket for Brown Jones. And one thing we know about VCU, they are not going away.
Brown Jones at 6'8" as a freshman, able to handle like that, is going to be a nightmare matchup come Atlantic Conference play.
He had a full head of steam heading to the basket. Lundy, step back 3, comes up short. Chance for VCU. Hyland, crossover dribble down the lane, sent back by Lundy.
Well, they didn't have numbers. You like the aggressiveness by Bones Hyland, but it was a 2-on-3. Here comes the extra gray jersey. Nice timing.
Tough shooting game for Bones Hyland. 3 for 12 for 8 points. There's a whistle inside. It's going to go against VCU and Vince Williams. An illegal screen. His second.
Vince Williams, we saw a little flash, but not able to get himself into a rhythm like the stretches we saw in South Dakota. They're a little discombobulated here as to what offensive stuff they're running.
Sessoms and especially Lundy have been the go-to guys in the second half for the Nittany Lions. Shot clock is down to 5. Sessoms has to fire away from the wing. And a nice tap out by Brockington.
Not great spacing there. Led to a 4th shot.
Penn State with a chance to run some clock here. Only a 6-point lead, though.
A lot of possessions left in this one, and Jim Ferry knows it.
Hara keeps it himself, spinning his way to the basket. A strong move inside for the big man.
One of my favorite moves for big men. On baseline out of bounds underneath. The little fake handoff and go.
A veteran move for a veteran player there. Williams going up against Hara. He'll go to the free throw line.
This is what you did to me earlier, Pat. The little fake, looked like you were going to get me something from the vending machine. You took it back, kept it for yourself. Nice soft touch by the big fella at the end.
On the other end, though, he picks up his 4th personal foul.
Shooting 2.
It was nice to see a line at the concession stand here with a couple of fans in attendance.
Did you see that pretzel when we came out of break before?
The kid was eating? I sure did.
I didn't see that when I was walking in. I'm starving.
Eric goes to the bench, 3 points. That was his only field goal of the game. That was a big one.
This is where you're going to see VCU try to get it back with their full court pressure D. This is going to be a club that has to feed off their defense.
Penn State has to be very careful. They've turned the ball over 13 times in this game.
This is an art in college basketball, being patient without being passive.
Brockington inside, Lundy from behind is blocked, but a late call on the foul. Boy, Trey Clark looked like he had the two-handed block. Seth Lundy a little slow to get up, but he is on his feet. That's Tennessee Tech Xavier coming up after this one. Penn State a 66-60 lead for Lundy on the free throw line, a chance to extend that. VCU hanging around all afternoon. Lundy working on a career game, game 2 of the season. Obviously he's okay, we think, after taking that hard fall before the break.
Very hard fall. And when you think about the fact that his career high was 19 last year as a freshman at Iowa, he's got now 20 in the second half alone. 32 total.
His career high in the teens. He just sped right past the 20s today into the 30s.
The sophomore with 50% of the team's offense.
Wow.
Head of steam by Baldwin.
Couldn't finish though. Ward battling inside. The foul before the break, meanwhile, was the 5th against Trey Clark. So his evening is done.
It's way too early to pull it out and kill clock, but you also do not need to be in a hurry. Up 8 with the 3-minute mark approaching. You are in control.
Sessoms and Lundy, the two-man game here. Lundy one-on-one against Baldwin. The step back, and Baldwin grabs the rebound. Lundy slipped a couple of times trying to get down court. Hyland an open look for 3, and it's a 5-point game.
Well, like Lundy, Hyland lives for shot attempts like that.
The shooters are going to shoot, and Hyland just 4 for 13 today, but there's 2.5 minutes to atone for that. And a foul right at midcourt against Bones Hyland.
You love the ball pressure, but not a smart one there by Hyland. Smart shot attempt there by Hyland along the sidelines, but no need for the loose ball foul against Wheeler. 50 feet away from the cup. And you're down 5 this late.
Number 5, Jamari Wheeler in the line.
Staff here wiping up a wet spot in the middle of the court that Lundy slipped on 2 times trying to get back down court on his previous possession. That's the cause of the delay. There we go. Second towel is needed for that. Lundy took a fall and then fell in his own, let's call it perspiration, a couple of times.
I know it's very, very early, but Wheeler already leads the nation technically in steals per game with 5. Led the Big Ten last season. That could be the focal point of Jim Ferry's half-court defensive attack this year.
Two big misses there, opening the door for VCU.
That would have been a 7-point cushion.
That's Hyland, maybe a little hop in his step after hitting his last 3-pointer. Wants it back. Matched up with Brockington.
What a pass.
Ward to the basket off the window in a 3-point game.
Think of that 4-point swing. Remember that one, folks. 2 missed free throws is like a turnover. And then they come back and give one up, and now you got yourselves a 1-possession ball game.
Well, you saw Baldwin slip on a wet spot in the middle of the court. This is at the hockey rink. The ice is not underneath this floor. Off the mark. Offensive putback is no good by Buttrick. Chance to tie. Lob pass for Ward, ill-advised as it was, and stolen away by the Nittany Lions.
Thought they had an easy one. Jim Ferry wants to get things under control right now. His clubs are running up and down like it's the first 3 minutes of the game at times.
Now you saw that timeout coming a mile away, Vin. Penn State ball, a 68-65 lead here in the second half. Let's reveal tonight's hardest working player, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
So don't you think this is a decent day's work for the Nittany Lions? He's got half of their points, and he's done it every conceivable way. In transition, handling the rock, spotting up in transition, attacking with the mid-range game. Most importantly, what he does best. 5 of his 11 field goals setting those feet behind the three-point arc.
Career high 32 points, eclipsing his previous high by 13. He's not done yet. But, you know, he's not just a shooter, as he's proven today, taking the ball to the basket a couple of times. We've seen the mid-range game. Yeah. We've seen a couple of block shots on the other end of the court.
From his freshman to his sophomore year, you can tell putting it on the deck and scoring was a big emphasis this offseason.
Long way to go, though. It was an 8-point game a minute or two ago. And now Penn State trying to hold on for its second win of the season. Buttrick couldn't handle it rolling to the basket. Was there a deflection? No, there wasn't. So out of the Jim Ferry timeout, Penn State turns the ball over.
Surprised they shot that early in the shot clock, but then again, it was a great opportunity off the high screen. Just thought they would milk a few more seconds before they got into it. Heads-up vision by Sessoms, but couldn't connect.
The Lions have turned the ball over 14 times now. Baldwin, lob inside for Ward, gathers, puts it on the floor, turns around, and he's got a chance to tie the game from the free throw line with 82 seconds to go.
Seth Lundy.
How about that?
His fourth.
Baldwin again throwing it up on the slip to go get it, and Ward with a soft touch.
It's the 4th foul against Seth Lundy. It's the 7th assist for Baldwin.
Nice blocking out. Ferry's got 2 at the table, ready to check in.
1-point ball game as we approach the final minute here at Penn State.
Late game execution.
Sessoms has been the primary ball handler. Lundy has been the primary scorer, but Sessoms has it knocked away by Williams.
Nice dig by Williams on the deflection.
Ooh, Hyland thought about it.
Oh, he did.
In the hands of their freshman point guard, back to Hyland.
Get into that ball screen option with Baldwin and the basketball in his hands.
And it's a high screen for Hyland. Ward rolling to the basket, double team, they swing it around. The freshman Watkins on the floor. Less than 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Here you go.
Baldwin wants the screen, draws the double. Great cross-court feed for Watkins. Open look for Hyland. Off the back of the rim. Rebound grab by Hara. Shot clock is off.
What vision by Baldwin to create that opportunity. He was not going to get the assist or the bucket, Pat, if that one dropped. But the way he baited him, I'll tell you, he's a freshman that plays like a junior and a senior at times. Look at how, you know how difficult that pass is, double team to go from sideline to sideline. You can't ask for a better shot than that if you're Mike Rhodes. Then obviously had to foul defensively, and the Rams take a timeout.
Mike Rhodes calls that timeout. He's got 1 left. His team trailing by 1. Free throws coming up for Penn State. So Penn State from the free throw line in this game, 71%, 12 out of 17. So either way, you assume if VCU doesn't allow an offensive rebound, it's going to be a 1-possession ball game as you look at the upcoming schedule for the Nittany Lions. Seton Hall coming in here on Sunday. You can catch that game on the Big Ten Network, and Big Ten play beginning the 13th of December in Ann Arbor.
Look at that competition right from the start. You got Virginia Tech, which they've already gotten Villanova this season. The Seton Hall Pirates are going to be coming in off their matchup tonight with URI on the road.
Here's what's coming up for the Rams. Games against Mount St. Mary's, North Carolina A&T. They finally get to go home where they haven't played so far this season. 3 games in South Dakota. here at Penn State.
These coaching staffs, they're just saying, should we pack for 2 or 3 days? Well, pack for 5 or 6 days. You never know.
You never know.
But you know what the beauty of the half of the sideline attire, Pat, is? You got polos, you got golf pants.
You would have liked that back in the day when you were on the bench.
Just do a little laundry on the road. You don't have to worry about dress shirts, ties, sports coats, blazers.
As dry cleaners throughout the country lament.
That's a good point.
So free throws coming up for the Nittany Lions. Sam Sessoms.
Sometimes a golf shirt is dry clean worthy.
Sometimes it is.
Number 3,
Talk about big free throws for the transfer.
2 free throws coming up. So after the timeout for VCU, 2 free throws coming, and the first one is off the mark. Does that mean that Mike Rhodes wants his team just to grab it and go here, or do you think he can call another timeout?
I think you're going to see them grab it and go. Maybe if it's a good opportunity and he doesn't think they're organized, call the one when they cross midcourt, but...
Number 2, Myles Dread.
It's Jim Ferry making that decision a little easier. He calls timeout from the Penn State bench with 20 seconds to go. So let's talk about what Mike Rhodes is saying in his huddle right now. His top player, Bones Hyland, has had a tough shooting game, 4 for 15, but he is his top scorer. He's got, obviously, the freshman point guard, Ace Baldwin. Where does he want to go?
But I'll tell you, I think it's going to be attack, attack, attack. I would be shocked here if they settled for a contested jumper, Pat, on the perimeter. Now, granted, we've already seen Baldwin's vision. We've already know that Bones Hyland could spot up on the perimeter. They do a great job screening away from the basketball. But if you are Jim Ferry in Penn State, it's not about your primary defense right now. It's about your secondary defense right now. You're getting attacked. You're on your heels. You know it's going to be dribble penetration. So often in situations like this, it's not the first shot that gets you. It's the offensive rebound that gets you. So getting multiple bodies, multiple great jerseys into the paint to help side to gang rebound as a team.
VCU in the double bonus. Any Penn State foul puts them at the free throw line for 2 shots. It's in the hands of the freshman point guard, Ace Baldwin out of Baltimore. Here's another freshman driving the reverse for Watkins, and we are all tied with 8.5 seconds to go. They're going to take a look at the clock to make sure it is accurate. But Jameer Watkins, the freshman out of Trenton, who has really come on here in the second half, ties the game for VCU.
And the help side was late. There were multiple gray jerseys in the paint. Look at it. Look at it right there. Wide open driving lane. The paint completely free. What a job by Watkins, the freshman, seeing it from the wing for the quick blow by. See, at that point, the help's late. You got flybys defensively, but then the soft touch at the end. That's a good heads up by the officials, because I think an extra second came off. They
I'd
put
say
a little bit of time. They put a little bit of time on it.
Yeah, a full second came off, and they were right on that right away.
And you know what? Harrow was a second late, but at that point, wall up and try to take the hit. Don't just fly by defensively.
Now, it's interesting because Jim Ferry essentially got a free timeout as they reviewed the clock. And on top of that, they're going to take their final timeout to set up their play on this last possession.
You can see Jim Ferry X and O right now with his staff out of a full court situation. And don't be surprised if you try to see some pistol action, meaning they don't have time to walk it up and get into half court action. It could be a sideline sprint into a quick hit towards the half-court line. You can see a little throwback. You can see a little quick dribble handoff, a little back screen, ball screen action in transition. Here's the thing with VCU. You have a young club right now, Pat. You have a lot of freshmen and sophomores out there that are going to want to be aggressive. Do it without fouling is what Mike Rhodes is telling him. Be solid. More importantly, try to not allow an offensive tip-in and a second chance at it. You want to get the chance for overtime if you're VCU, and if you're Penn State, why settle? Obviously, Seth Lundy's been terrific, especially from the perimeter today, but why settle when you have the ability with a head of steam? Worst case scenario, you're going to OT and not losing this one. Obviously, if you get the ball inbounded, but you have the advantage to attack and get them on their heels.
Tennessee Tech and Xavier will get you out to that at the conclusion of this one. Penn State has to go the length of the floor. It's in the hands of Brockington. 6 seconds to go. He's slow to get it over the midcourt line. Brockington picks up his dribble. It's Wheeler over to Dread from the wing. Ahead of the buzzer. And the Nittany Lions are 2-0 to start the season.